Welcome back to the Caffeinated Comics Club. No, I don't even know where the fuck I'm going with that.
We giggle a lot here.
Welcome back to the Caffeinated Comics Club, where Gare and I pick a run or a volume to read and review weekly. And this week we decided to start with Grimm from Stephanie Phillips, and it's been pretty cool so far.
It has been really cool. This is our first little testing of the waters of just doing a first volume of a series. All month this month we are going to be reading volume ones of things. And then also there's one standalone, but we started with Grimm this week. Next week we are doing Radiant Black by Kyle Higgins and about 10 other people. It's only their last names, and I was like, I don't have the energy to look them up. Then we're doing 20th Century Men by Dennis Camp, and then we are finishing out the month with We Called Them Giants by Kieran Gillen and Stephanie Hans and Clayton Cowles. I'm very excited about this one. Marsh and I are pretty big Die fans, and it's the team that made Die, so it's exciting that we're going to get to read a 130-page book and then talk about it on the pod. Both of us still have it in the wrapper.
You know, I didn't even know it was hardcover. I didn't know it was a hardcover when I bought it. It came and I was like, oh, that's nice.
I picked up the stack today to bring it in here and I was like, oh, my skills of looking at things are so low because I unpackaged it from the box, looked at it, sat it down, and I picked it up today. I was like, oh my God, it's hardcover.
That's so funny.
No clue. What are you sipping on today? Talking about the caffeine. You are the sole caffeine drinker today, so I need you to deliver. And you did. Damn.
I have a Diet Coke with lime. As per usual, I say not really. I savor them. And then I have a Liquid Death Tropical Terror energy drink.
Tropical Terror.
Tropical
I
Terror.
said it last week. You're always presenting things I've never heard of that sound insane.
So they started out with waters in a can, because they're death to plastic, that's their main tagline.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started doing they just did regular water, and then they had some sparkling water, and then they started doing flavors of sparkling water, and then they started doing energy drinks, and I was like energy drinks for carbonated water, and I was like, that is my jam. That is perfect. That is made for me.
They're almost there for me. Once they drop a little tequila in it, then I'll start purchasing it. I feel like we're this close. I feel like we're so close. They might already have alcoholic beverages. I don't know. I've never looked into
I don't know either. Oh, and it only has 100 milligrams of caffeine, which isn't bad. So if you need a light caffeine energy drink.
That sounds better than that one time that I got a Ghost because you influenced me to get a Ghost, and then I was like, I'm gonna have a heart attack.
It was good though. You said the Ghost was good. It was delicious. Lot of caffeine in it.
It was the Welch's grape juice one, and it was so good. I just drank it so ridiculously fast. While we were recording the pod, in the middle of the pod, I was like, I'm gonna die. Hey, I'm gonna die. I didn't die. Clearly, I'm here. I do not have caffeine today. I have a big ass water today. I am currently 2 days no caffeine.
Good for
Not
you.
for any reason. It just kind of happened. I'm on a medicine right now that I'm not going to get into, but it is changing what I'm craving, and I have not wanted caffeine at all. I drank Diet Coke the first day on the medicine, and I told you it took me so long to drink it, and then I just forgot. I just forgot yesterday, and then I was bringing all my stuff in here, and I was like, oh my God, I don't have a Diet Coke. And then I was like, oh my God, I haven't had Diet Coke since Friday. So that's where I am right now. I have had a little light headache. I told you last night, I was like, I'm getting a headache, and I think maybe I was getting a headache because I haven't had caffeine.
That's possible. It is possible.
But I will be having a Diet Coke tomorrow. I just don't have one on hand right now. So this is a spoiler-heavy podcast. By the way, if you haven't been here before, we dive deep and tell you all the things that happen. Sometimes we skip over things because there's a lot of metaphorical shit that we like to talk about, you know? With this run today, I'm going to tell you a lot of details. Because this is an origin story. So a lot of things are important, but there's not a lot of deep things in it for us to ponder over. So you're going to know a lot about this girl, this Jessica Harrow.
So that's a really cool name, by the way. That's a cool name.
It's such a sick name. I love her. I'm not going to lie. I love her. Again, if this is your first time being here and you've just stumbled upon this on Spotify, and you would like to follow us on the socials, you can find me over at Uncanny Gare on TikTok and Instagram.
You could also find me at Marsh Likes Comics. Yes, Marsh Likes Comics on TikTok and Instagram. but like not really on Instagram because I'm terrible at posting there. So
I
TikTok is really where I'm at.
Yeah, I am mostly on TikTok. I'm also really terrible at Instagram. I'm trying to be better, but there's just something about it. There's just something about it that feels really chuggy. Do you know what I mean? Like
He's
we are
yeah.
millennials, but it feels too millennial a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, dogs and flower crowns and hearts in the sand. So,
Coachella.
Coachella.
um, so before we're going to talk about our weekly pulls in just a minute, but before we do that, is there any comic book news that you want to talk about? Because there is something that I do want to talk about comic news wise.
You know what? I've been pretty offline almost this whole week, so I don't really know any comic book news this week, I don't think.
We love a disconnect. Okay, you may have seen this, you may not have, and if you haven't seen it, I'm really sorry for what I'm about to say. So
Okay.
later this year, there's another X-Men event, if you can believe it, called DNX that is being helmed by Jed McKay. It's a 5-issue miniseries that is all about the mutant virus that was teased in Age of Revelation. The Fantastic Four are going to be a part of it. Marsh and I have already decided we're reading it together. Like, it's a thing. It's only 5 issues. These motherfuckers are doing blind bags for this book. Blind bags. I'm talking about this on the pod because I need to come out to the world as someone who is suffering from blind bag fatigue. I cannot do it anymore. Listen, Stephanie Phillips Daredevil, so excited. Love the covers that I've got. Do not want a blind bag ever again. I just can't do it. I pulled the same things over and over again. And it's like, why am I spending $5, 10 to just get mostly the same cover and seeing everyone getting the same cover? I don't know one person who has gotten a sketch cover. I've not seen anyone pull a sketch cover on the internet. Have you? You might have.
I have. I have seen a few people pull a couple sketch covers on the internet. Somebody who has a podcast, both two of the main guys both pulled sketch covers. But I mean, yeah, I didn't know there were blind bags. And hopefully there are still some cool variants that I can buy.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that aren't just blind bag, related, just because I am also tired of blind bags. As someone who's recently gotten back into Pokemon cards again,
Mm-hmm.
because I go in and out of the hobby. I I actually taught my sister a lesson this weekend. She wanted to pull this card that was like $130 or whatever. It's this Clefairy EX. If Gare wants to add it to the pod, he can. I'll send him a picture of it. But she wanted this card right here, and she ended up paying $60 to buy cards to try and pull a $130 card. She pulled nothing in those packs. Zero, zilch, nothing to like even trade to get her money back, to like do anything. And I was like, you know that you were like halfway to that card that you wanted. You could have just gone and bought it.
Literally.
It's different with blind bags though, because they're $4 or $5 or whatever
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
instead of, you know. But yes, the high of getting something like that is amazing. It's something that you like, that you chase. It's like when you win at the lottery. It's like when you win at the casino or whatever, right? I don't go to casinos, but
It's
I
like
mean, it's
last
kind
year
of
when I was deep into Labubu, everything, and pulled a secret for the first time on a Crybaby and was like, oh my God, this is the feeling that everyone is getting when they're pulling these secret Labubus. I felt it, and then I immediately was like, I cannot keep doing this because that felt too good. So I just sold it, and then every other one that was worth anything, and was like, I'm done. I'm going to start buying comic books. Literally. You can't
yeah.
find any of the videos.
That's
I
actually hilarious.
deleted all the videos
That's
off of my
hilarious.
TikTok, but that was the original journey on my TikTok on this account. La Boo-Boos.
That's so funny. I'm so tired of blind bags, dude.
Yeah, me too. And I'm also, you know what? I kind of have variant fatigue. Like, there are some variants that come out that are beautiful. Like, if there's a David Nakayama variant, I'm going to get it. If there's a Russell Dodderman, I'm going to get it. There are, like, specific artists, but it's like, why do we need 7 variants for all of these issues? And, like, they're beautiful when the cover A's really are fine. So I feel like maybe I'm going to try really hard not to buy any of the DNX blind bags. That's what I'm going to try to do.
Are you sure that you're not equating your variant fatigue to like absolute Batman variant fatigue?
I had to take a big sip of water. Listen, I have mostly gotten cover A's for Absolute Batman, and I started collecting Absolute Batman late, so I have nothing before like issue. I think the first one I got was Bane, that big old Bane bitch sitting in the chair.
Okay.
So I've been lucky in that like my shop has always had cover A's, but there have been some really beautiful variants that I've wanted, and I'm just like, I can't do it. X-Men's really the only thing that I will get variants of these days.
That's fair.
Unless it's like gay.
That's fair. That's fair. No, I mean, so like you were saying, there are some artists, like if they're on a book that I'm reading, like Absolute Batman, right? There's gonna be a DNA cover coming out, I think, for that, or it might be Absolute Wonder Woman. I'm not sure which.
Both.
I'm gonna get that cover, and I'm gonna get cover A too, because I want the David Nakayama cover, but I also want the cover A's because I have all of the cover A's.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I ever wanted to sell those, people generally want the cover A's. It has a higher resale value, except for like the store exclusives or whatever. But I mean, usually I'll get a cover A unless, like you said, it's like David Nakayama for me, Dan Mora for me, Jorge Jimenez. No, yes, Jorge Jimenez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, but I usually try just to get cover A's if it's possible.
Yeah, that's where I am in my journey right now. I love a variant. I mean, like clearly, I love a variant. The wall behind me is covered in them, but I'm just like it's a wonderful way to showcase artists that are not on books full time, but it's a wonderful way to spend my money. To take my money, excuse me. It's not a great way to spend my money. It's a wonderful way to take my money. So that's where I am at it right now. Speaking of spending our money, what are your pulls for the week?
My pulls for this week, I have 7. And also, did you know that there was no Fantastic Four book for my birthday month? Not one came out, or not the main line came out.
They gave you a break as a gift before they do what they do with tomorrow's book.
Maybe. It's the last $4 book there's going to be, though. Last $4 Fantastic Four book. Makes me real sad. All right.
Yeah.
My pulls for the week are Batman number 9. I have Comics the Magazine number 3, just because I think it's cool, like, to kind of, like, get, like, kind of, like, insider information on the comic book. Like, just, like, comic books in general.
Mm-hmm.
Cyclops number 4. I think I've only read the first one. So there's that. Daredevil number 2, which is probably going to be the first thing I read tomorrow. Followed by Fantastic Four number 10 with this amazing DNA cover that comes out with Herbie and Ben on it. A new number 1 from Image Comics called If Destruction Be Our Lot. And finally, Speed Racer number 8. Those are my pulls for this week.
Good little stack.
Yeah.
A few of those I'm getting. For Marvel, I'm doing Daredevil number 2, X-Men 29, Fantastic Four number 10, Cyclops number 4, All New Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider number 10. I think it is the final of Stephanie Phillips on the run. Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutants number 4. Yeah, I think it is. So you're good.
I think it might be the last issue, though. I know it's her last issue, but I think it's the last issue.
Oh, period. Jubilee Deadly Reunion number 1. Very excited about that. Captain Marvel Dark Past number 2. Rogue is going to be in that. Very excited to see them have their drama. I love Carol and Rogue drama. For DC, Batman number 9, Batgirl number 19. Hey, that's it for DC. And then for Image, nothing. So yeah, that's it for me for the week.
Nice. It's a nice little stack. Nice little X-Men stack you got going on there, Gare.
Mm-hmm. God, so many books, and more are just gonna come out. Rogue's almost done. Yeah. Cyclops is almost done. Psylocke is, thank God, almost done. Period. Do you have any final things to say before we dive into our recap of Grimm by Stephanie Phillips?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Let's dive into it. Grimm is a book that is by Stephanie Phillips Flaviano and Rico Renzi. I will say I really liked the art in this. I love so much of what they do. I felt like it fit the vibe perfectly. I have an issue with her hair.
You have an issue with her hair?
And here's the thing is, it's not really an issue. It's not bad. It doesn't look bad. It looks like someone or something, but I cannot place it, and it is driving me crazy. Who does that look like to y'all? It's killing me. I don't know who it is. I don't know.
Like her hair, or just like her in general?
Her hair. Specifically the shape of her hair. Like this is on the back is a better. Yeah, it looks like someone very specific and I cannot place it. It's not someone from real life. It's like a character. But anyway, that's my only issue, is that
It's
I
not
can't
even
figure
an
out who
issue.
she looks like. Exactly. So issue number 1, we open with the song Don't Fear the Reaper playing over the radio of a crashed car. There's a broken windshield, and then about 10 feet in front of it, there's a body of a man laying there. He starts to slowly get up. He stands up confused, and then he realizes that the car behind him is actually his. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so lucky to be alive. Clearly, I had a terrible car accident. And then our main character appears, Jessica Harrow, and she says, well, here's the thing. You're not alive. So y'all know. She is this badass Reaper chick with, I put a sick haircut, because it is a sick haircut. I just don't know who it is. I don't know what the haircut is. Think of the hottest goth girl you've ever seen in your life. Like, that's the vibe that Jessica Harrow is giving.
This is the fit, y'all.
I'm so obsessed.
It's great.
She tells this guy that he is dead. His name is Brian, by the way. Brian with a Y. If you know, you know. And Brian starts freaking out, saying that there's no way that he's dead. He thinks that maybe somebody must have put something in his drink and he's just hallucinating. And she's like, it's very real, girl. You are dead. Come with me. And she tries to lead him through the woods. And he's like, no. And he runs away. And she's like, girl, you cannot run from death. This doesn't have to be difficult. The hard part is already over. Everyone dies, and you don't have to be afraid of what comes next because you're not going alone, which I thought was kind of lovely. Lovely sentiment. So he calms down. He calms down like fairly quickly and follows her to this boat on a frozen lake. And as they cross the lake starts to crack, and we see millions of hands and arms under. They're crossing the river Styx, or if that's what we call it anyway. As they're crossing, he tells her that he wasn't even supposed to be at the bar that night. His ex-girlfriend Abigail was there, and he went to apologize to her.
Isn't that how it always happens?
Yeah, it's a man not knowing when to just let go, and now he's dead. And it is what it is, you know? Yeah, so while they're talking, one of the arms reaches up, and he's like freaking out, screaming because he's scared of the arms coming from the river Styx. And she slices it and basically tells him that these are souls that are being punished. And he's like, by who? And she goes, by death. And she then explains that she's a Reaper. And he's like, I kind of expected a big skeleton cloak kind of thing, a big guy. She tells him that there are many Reapers and they all have a job to do. He asks her if he's going to get to meet death, and she tells him no one meets death. She then grows tired of him and says, save all your questions for intake. And he says, well, I have one more. How did you die? And she like looks away all dramatically, and she goes, that's none of your business. Because our lead character, Jessica Harrow, does not know how she died. He pesters her for a bit about it, and then even promises that if she tells him, he won't say another word. So she tells him she doesn't know how she died. He tries to ask a bit more questions about it, but she tells him to shut up, and he says, for what it's worth, Jessica Harrow, I'm sorry you don't know what happened to you. And then we finish crossing the river Styx, and we enter the afterlife, which is like this big, gigantic white room full of other souls waiting for their numbers to be called. It's basically DMV from hell, not in hell, but you could be going there. I was like, this gives me stress. This gives me anxiety. A big, gigantic room. Oh, no. Like, if there is an afterlife, do we think that this is what it's going to be like? Do we think it's going to be like Beetlejuice, like this, like that Elizabeth Olsen movie where we got to sit in a damn line?
I hope not. I
really hope not.
That sounds like hell, honestly. Just sitting and waiting and for your number to be called? Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
So she tells him to have a seat and that his number will be called soon. He freaks out and grabs her, saying he doesn't know what happens next. And she's like, someone is going to explain everything to you. Have a good death. And then she walks away and gets in like this elevator thing, this like glowy white elevator to go down to like the locker room. And on the way there, she realizes that she does not have her scythe anymore. We then cut to the locker room, and it's full of like all these other Reapers. Like, and you see people from all kinds of time periods. Like, I hope that in the future we dive into how Reapers get chosen, because it's like we have, like, side character wise, we have Marcel, who is like this sexy guy from 1865. And then we have Eddie, who's like a hair metal dude from the 80s. And they're Reapers.
You know what's funny is when I saw Marcel, I was like, yep, Gary's going to say something about it.
Yeah. 1 second, you guys. 1 second. I have to show you this beautiful, beautiful man. Look at him. Gorgeous. That's a cover by Jennifer Son.
I just remember I saw that cover and I was like, yep, Gary's going to talk about this, which is totally fine because he is hot. But I was just like, yep.
But every time I reference him in my notes, I say, Marcel, that beautiful man, says. So yeah,
That's
there's like
funny.
all kinds of Reapers. Marcel and Eddie are like hanging in the locker room talking, and Jessica runs up to them freaking out and tells them that her side is gone. She thinks that the last soul that she brought in took it. Brian, that bitch Brian. Marcel's like, girl, you got to get it before Adira finds out. And Eddie's like, fuck, okay, I'll take you. Let's go. And so he uses his side to get them to where Brian is, which is back in New York, outside of his ex-girlfriend Abigail's apartment, while he's watching her and her new boyfriend fight over what movie they're going to watch for movie night.
A man's gonna man, okay? Listen.
Literally. He's like out there with with Jessica's side being like, Abigail, I'm sorry. And she's like, I saw something. It's just the snow. Like, it's rough. So Jessica and her friends appear while he's like realizing that Abigail can't see him. And she tells them that the living cannot see them. They cannot interact with them. They exist parallel to the world, but they're not part of it. And Brian's like, peace out, and starts running away again. And Jessica's like, again? And gets angry. And when she gets angry, like her face starts to turn into a skull, which is really cunty, but also very scary. I do not like it at all.
Oh, really?
And neither
I
does
think it's fucking
Eddie.
awesome.
Eddie doesn't
I think
like
it's
it
fucking
either.
cool.
Eddie's like, that scares me. My thing is that I would never feel comfortable. I'd be like, you gonna bring the skull out? Like, I'd be afraid to say anything that she disagree with. I'm like, you gonna bring that face out? Because I don't want to see it. So yeah, she tells her friends to split up. They're gonna all try to run around and catch Brian. Jessica is the one that catches up with him, and they get on the ground wrestling with him. And she tells him that he doesn't have a choice, that the world is not for them anymore. And suddenly, a living human police officer grabs her and tells her to get off the ground, asks her if she's drunk, and threatens to take her to jail for making a scene. And she's like, "Holy shit! This living man can see me." That is something that does not happen in this world with the Reapers. They literally exist on a plane parallel, so humans can never see them, but they can see Jessica right now in this moment. The issue then ends with an epilogue where we see Adira for the first time. Adira was brought up earlier. She was the one that they said that they had to find the side before Adira finds out. She's kind of like their boss. She's looking at flowers in like this greenhouse when her assistant Vincenzo comes in to tell her that there's an issue. She cuts him off and says, "You know the problem with trying to grow the perfect rose. You can do everything right, give it water, give it light." And then he interrupts her and says, "Hey, Jessica has been seen by the living." And then she says, "You can give a flower everything it needs to survive and grow, and yet it still rots." And that's the end of the issue. What did you think about Adira's design? Specifically, her eyeshadow. Her
This
eyeshadow
eyeshadow?
can fit so crazy, bro.
It's
She's
just
spooky.
so her face to me is just so weird because like everybody else looks so pretty, right? Like Jessica looks pretty, Marcel looks pretty, even 80s hair rocker man looks kind of pretty. But like she's just like all like hard lines and like big old eyeshadow and like she's giving off Scar vibes from The Lion King.
Yes, I agree with that. She also kind of reminds me of Trixie Mattel a little bit.
Of who?
Oh my god, I'm about to change your life. Hold on.
You said Tracy Mattel?
Well,
Is that what you said?
technically, one of Trixie's alter egos is
Trixie.
Tracy Martell. This is Trixie. She's a drag queen.
Oh, yep, I would agree. I agree with this.
I said, Tracy Martell, what are you doing here? When I saw her for the first time. So I will say, I think issue 1, it's really good. I think a lot happens. A lot happens. There are a couple of really good questions posed, like why does she not know how she died when everyone else knows how how they died? Why in the world can the humans see her randomly? You know. And we set up a villain very lightly, very lightly. You kind of don't even really know Adira is a villain at this point, other than like she's giving like a villain monologue about like killing flowers, you know? But I mean, I feel like it's strong, but I do feel like, oh God, a lot happened. And then it just ended.
Agree. I do think out of what we've read, for me, I think it's the weakest issue. But like it's enough of an issue to like want to keep reading to figure out what's happening. Right? So like it plants those seeds.
Agreed. I would have pulled. I would have kept pulling after the first issue. Number ones are always kind of hard for me. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way, that like number ones are there to set up everything else. And sometimes it feels like a schlep to you have to schlep through it a little bit. This one was enjoyable. There were things in it that would have made me buy the next issue had I been reading it in real time.
That's fair. No, I agree. I also would have pulled it just because I also liked that it was somewhat like a quick read. But I've also been
Mm-hmm.
reading a lot of like Silver Age stuff recently, so like everything that I'm reading is very word heavy. The fact that I
Mm-hmm.
could read, I think I read this whole thing in like 40 minutes. Like it was quick,
Yeah.
but it was good, right? But it was just nice not spending like 15 minutes on an issue.
Completely agree. Completely agree. So, diving right back in, issue 2 opens in Mexico City on El Dia de los Muertos. It's a giant party there. Everyone has their skull paint on. They're having a great time. We see these two girls. One of them, it's like, I think it's her first Day of the Dead. And she was expecting it to be a little bit more somber. And the other girl is like, nah, it's more about celebrating life. We invite the dead to hang out, eat some food, maybe chug a few beers. While they're talking, they bump into this big, tall man. He's wearing a gigantic cloak, and they look at his face, and one of them is like, I've never seen a costume like that. And he reaches his hand out of his big ass cloak and tries to touch one of them, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't touch me. And then he grows into this gigantic death monster and starts killing everyone there at the festival while screaming, the ledger must be balanced. So scary. So yeah, he just turns them into dust, essentially.
Do you really like how it was like super colorful, right? Like so you got all the colors going on, right? And then like
Mm-hmm.
as he's like killing people, it just goes like to black and white, and then all the color is just going slowly to him. I like that artistic choice. I think it's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I agree. I agree. When I read this, I was like, oh, is this death? Is this our first introduction to death? Because right now, all we've heard about
Mm,
death is that we no one's ever met death. No one's ever seen death.
hmm
And so I was like, oh, do we get to see death right now? Is that who this is? Because big and scary and looks kind of
That
like
would
the
be
Grim Reaper that
crazy.
you have in your mind. So we cut from here to Jessica, Eddie, Marcel, and Brian with a Y on a boat crossing the river Styx again. Jessica is sitting there silently while Eddie is freaking out about the fact that she interacted with the living. Marcel tells him that it's not possible, and Eddie's like, it has to be possible, bitch, because I saw it with my own two eyes. And Brian's stupid ass lets out this like big sigh and is like, isn't it obvious? And then he asks Eddie and Marcel, do you know how you died? And they're like, of course we know how he died. And he's like, well, Jessica doesn't. So obviously that has something to do with it. I just can't stand Brian. Sorry, I cannot stand Brian. I'm glad that we don't see him anymore after this issue. The men all start arguing, and then Jessica has had enough. So she goes back into her skull form and tells them all to shut up, saying that there's only one person who can provide those answers now. And this is where we cut back to Adira, Tracy, Martel. Oh my God, do you remember the girl named Tracy in Gotham Central?
Yes. Yes.
I wonder how she's doing. I miss her. So we cut back to Adira in her greenhouse where Jessica has appeared and demands to know how she died. And Adira's just like, no, heart emoji. Jess is like, I have to know because I'm the only Reaper who doesn't know. And now I'm also the only Reaper who has ever interacted with the living. So these two things have to be connected. And Adira is like, we've talked about this. No, you know that Death is the only one who can access those files, and now you're asking me to lose my job to do this for you? When really we should be worried about what happened today. Your soul stole your scythe. And then she suspends her ass. Like fully deflects from looking up Jessica's history and is just like, we're gonna suspend you. Vincenzo comes in and they're talking. Jessica has stormed off, and Vincenzo informs Adira that the end is awake, like she suspected. And she tells him that she will meet with the end. At this point, we don't know what that means. Cut to Eddie and Marcel hanging out in a record shop, which I think is where Eddie lives, maybe. When Jessica shows
hmm
up telling them that she got suspended, she tells them that they have to break into the records room so she can find out how she died. So they do exactly that. Eddie distracts the guard by flirting with her, and it works really easily. It's also pretty easy for you to find your file in these records rooms because all you have to do is like hold your hand in front of this like tube, and the file of your death just shoots into your hand, which I found to be very interesting. I was like, okay, I love that. I love something that's really easy. I love when we don't have to take a big old quest. They just hold their hand out, and there it is. So Marcel is like, open it, Jess. And so they open it, and she starts to relive the memory of her death. We see a woman giving birth. We see another woman saying Lila over and over again. The woman holds the baby in her arms and says her name, says Jessica. And then she also says we should show her father. And before she can finish the vision, we hear someone say, I told you not to do this, Jess. I told you to trust me. And it's Adira pulling her out of the vision. This issue then ends with an epilogue where we see the big scary monster from the beginning crossing the river to the afterlife. This is the end that Vincenzo was warning Adira about. This character is the end. That big ass monster from Mexico.
What I didn't realize until I was looking at this as you were talking about it, I didn't realize that Adira also became a skull face.
Yeah, I didn't pick that up either until I read it a second time today.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, especially when you've finished the arc, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, issue 3 starts in the year 500 BC in ancient Mesopotamia, where we see a group of women in a circle surrounding these blue flames, trying to summon someone by offering their souls. And we hear this voice saying, I hear you, I accept your souls, and a young Adira steps out of the flames. She has wings. She looks incredible. She is basically a demon queen. I ate this up. I thought she looked so cool.
She also has hooves.
I was about to say, other than her hooves. I don't love a hoof. But that does confirm, though, that she is kind of a demon.
Yes.
She tells them that they will become her warriors in a fight that will determine the fate of eternity. We now come back to the present, and Adira is on the edge of the river meeting the end as he makes his way into the afterlife. She tells them that... Huh? What does that mean? She tells him that she get to eat them for a death? What does that mean?
So they're talking about... Let's see. The end says that basically your war you lost. So he's referring to the war that she had, I guess, previously with whomever the war was against.
Mm-hmm.
And then she realizes that the end is here for her, referencing Jessica Harrow. And then he says that there is an imbalance. I will correct it. You cannot stop it. And she says, I don't want to stop you. I want to make you an offer. I have an idea that could benefit us. And then he immediately stops her from saying what she's saying. It says, I know what you are and I know how your deals end. And then she basically says that they need a cleanse and a restart, and I guess what is hell. And she says, take Jessica Harrow, but don't stop there. And I don't know what that means. Like, are we killing everyone in hell? Is the end supposed to take everyone?
Yes. Well, the end then, she says, the end then says he will cleanse the afterlife, as she says, and balance will be restored. She says that there are too many souls here, they outweigh death. They outweigh or something like that. Like, she insinuates that there's too many souls around and death's not around to clean it up. So she's basically like, will you just kill all of these people for me? And he's like, say less. Like, the way he turned around and looked at her, he was so down for it. He was like,
That's
actually,
fair.
I'm not mad at you anymore. Meanwhile, Jessica, Marcel, and Eddie are in this prison void, this gigantic, just solid white space, trying to figure out what is happening and what Jessica's death memory meant. And she also apologizes to them for dragging them into her mess, and they're very, very sweet to her and say that they would do it again. And she tells them that they are the only family she's ever known. And while they're being all mushy-gushy, the void starts to crack around them, and suddenly they're back in the main lobby. People are running and screaming everywhere because the end is actually destroying everyone looking for her. They start to run away, but Jessica's like, we have to help, only to be immediately grabbed by the end. Like, he picks her up and says the balance must be restored. And it looks like he's about to kill her when, surprise, Adira's bitchy assistant Vincenzo appears out of nowhere and says that death would have never allowed this, and throws an hourglass on the ground, which helps him save Jessica, Eddie, and Marcel, and then he whisks them away on like this bridge. And they're starting to run towards this like portal thing. I was confused what this hourglass meant. Do you have any insight as to what that is?
I think the hourglass like stopped time or something for like a couple seconds to allow them to get away from the end to run away. Because there's like some sort of like So like he throws it right, and then there's like this like hour like the yellowness around him, and it like keeps him from like chasing them. Seems
Period. Okay.
so.
So as they're running, Jessica stops him once they are kind of safely away, and she was like, "Why would we go with you? You work for Adira." And he's like, "No, I work for death. And honestly, it's better if I just show you." So he takes them through this portal, and suddenly they're outside of this big, big, scary phallic castle that's covered in like spider webs. It looks like it has not been touched in a long time. It is Death's castle. Just a big ass, long castle. Eddie is excited about the prospect of meeting Death for the first time, and it becomes apparent very quickly that Death is gone. Vincenzo tells them that Death has actually been missing for many years, but has been kept secret because news of his disappearance would destroy everything that Death has built. He then tells them that in order to find Death, they need to look to the person who benefits the most from him being gone, and Jessica immediately clocks it as Adira. And she's trying to make sense of how any of this could involve herself. Then she sees Death's scythe. Vincenzo starts explaining that Death left it behind and that no one is able to activate it but Death himself. And those who have tried have failed. But while he's literally saying that last sentence, Jessica activates it and it becomes a big, beautiful golden scythe. Yes, just like that image right there.
I'm just here for the images.
As this is happening, a red smoke starts to fill the room. The end has found them. Vincenzo realizes this and tells them that they need to go, that he will stall for them. He tells them that they must find Death so that he can fix the damage that Adira has done. Jessica thanks him and they run off, leaving Vincenzo to die at the hands of the End. And it is a brutal death, and I was actually really sad about it because I liked that he like revealed himself as like a spy for Death, you know? He wasn't really
I really
for Adira.
Right. He was working for her, but like in the guise that he's always working for Death, which is kind of poetic in its own way, just because he's like, nah, you thought I worked for you, but no, I don't. And honestly, the reveal at the end of this book makes it a little bit even more heartbreaking because he probably knows.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
this issue does end with another epilogue where we see a man in a cowboy hat playing slot machines in Las Vegas. He pulls the lever and he starts to get matches, but the third slot comes up with a skull. And he stands up frustrated and walks away from the slot machine saying, "Why the hell would anyone ever want to come here?" So yeah, we're led to believe.
Or do you think that's
yes,
so random?
I do think it is Death, but in a roundabout way that like I don't want to spoil it just yet, but I think that
No, I was
in the same way that someone else is Death later on, I think that Death is that maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. It might just be a random guy.
Maybe.
It literally might just be a random guy. So
He just
issue
looks
4.
like a cowboy, so I was wondering if you thought it was Death or not. Okay.
Well, I will say though that like even when we see Death, the way they designed him, he kind of looks like Sam Elliott to me. He looks like a cowboy.
He does look like Sam Elliott.
He really does. And I wonder if his design was kind of based on Sam Elliott because I was like, I know that mustache.
Spoiler alert, I had the hugest crush on Sam Elliott.
I still do.
So I saw that, I was like, oh, Death's hot. Okay, all right. Death is hot. I'm here for this.
Yeah, same. I will get to it because I was having conflicting feelings about how hot he was, and I'll explain why when we get there. I'm sure you already know. So issue 4. The next issue starts with the gang still trying to escape the End. He has chased them all the way up to the top balcony of the castle. They end up having to dive off the balcony toward the river Styx, and they're like, "We're gonna die. This is it for us." And just as about their...
Go ahead. Which is funny to me because they're already dead. So what do you mean? Are you going to die again? What?
What happens to your soul when you're already dead and then you die again? Where do you go? Do you just blip out of existence, or is there somewhere else?
I don't know.
Stephanie?
Maybe.
I hope
Maybe
I hope she answers that later. Yeah.
If we keep reading, we might find out. Or we could just ask the author herself.
That's true.
Just a quick little TikTok DM. Hey, we're reading your book. We have a question.
So, just as they're about to hit the river Styx, a portal opens and they fall into a fountain in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Death Scythe opened a portal and transported them to Las Vegas. The three of them start walking the streets of Las Vegas, assuming... Go ahead.
Have you ever been to Vegas?
No.
I haven't either. I was just curious.
My
It just
parents
seems
have. They
gross.
said it was amazing. Exactly. That's what I was about to say.
It just seems
My
gross.
parents loved it, so I feel like I will hate it, you know? It also
Hmm.
is very, very hot there. And I like a
Mm.
very cold climate. So
You live in Alabama. What do you mean you like a cold climate?
exactly. I am very miserable for 5 months of the year. Miserable. When it's freezing here, you'll see me out everywhere. When it's summer, you won't see me. I'm in my house praying.
Fair enough. Okay.
So the three of them start walking around the streets of Las Vegas, assuming that because the scythe brought them to Vegas, that death is somewhere around. And they're talking, and while they're walking and talking, they see a drunk girl who is a bride. She's got like the bride sash on, about to be hit by a bus in the middle of the street. Jessica intervenes and grabs her, and the bus phases through them. Some Kitty Pryde type shit. The drunk girl is like, "What the fuck? That bus just went through us." And Jessica's like, "No, I pushed you out of the way at the last second." And she starts to walk away, and the girl grabs her, and it's like, "You have my scythe." I assumed she was talking with like a demon voice. Like that's what I believe. This bride is like, "You have my scythe."
Her speech bubble is black, so I would assume it's some sort of brah.
Exactly. And that's right. Death is possessing this girl. He and Jessica have a conversation, and she's like, "I need to know how I died." And he's like, "Why don't you come by for pie and have a talk with me?" And he gives her his address, which is like 1300 Inferno Hotel or something like that. So they head off to the Inferno Hotel and go to the room. They open the doors, and for some reason, there's like a long hallway with a portal. I'm assuming that's like
Yeah.
Death's portal in this hotel. And so they're walking down the hallway, and Eddie or Marcel, one is like, "This could be a trick from Adira." And Jessica's like, "Either way, I have to go through this portal to know, because the answer could be on the other side." So they go through the portal and basically walk into a bachelor pad. There's like half-eaten hamburgers lying around. Basically, exactly what you would expect a single man's house to look like when they're living in Las Vegas, I feel like. Yeah, they're like disgusted, and they're like talking about over and under burgers. They were like, Eddie says, "There's no way this is Death's place, because he would not be eating this much fast food." And then we hear a voice off panel say, "Those things taste good, but they'll definitely kill you. Do you three have time for pie and coffee or what?" And this is when we get our first look at Death. Okay, very hot man.
Also,
He's got a great mustache. He does have an ankle monitor. He does, but he's wearing flip-flops, and that takes away almost all of his hotness for me. And I'll say it. A man should not be
You're not a
wearing
flip-flop guy?
flip-flops. No, a man should be wearing sandals or socks with shoes.
He's in his house. So he's wearing PJs and a robe and sandals, so you're not walking around barefoot.
Sandals, not flip-flops. I don't know why, there's something about them that just gross me out so bad.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
And they just stay flopping. Anyway, but I've lost
It's
where
the
I
noise
was.
they make.
Yeah. And the fact that British people call them thongs. They're like, "Have you got my thongs?" And they're talking about flip-flops.
Not butt floss.
No, Cisco did not die for this. Okay? Cisco's still alive, by the way.
I don't even know who Cisco is.
The thong song? That thong, the thong, thong,
yeah,
thong.
yeah. All right,
You
all right,
remember.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yes, yes, I did. I was there.
So yeah, Death is hot and also wearing an ankle monitor. This issue then ends with an epilogue where we see Adira addressing the surviving Reapers. She tells them that Jessica Harrow sought to destroy them and brought the end to the afterlife and escaped with Death's scythe. She calls them to arms and says that Jessica will not go unpunished, and they all get ready to go find her.
The top one's way better with all people. Let's see. Go
Yeah,
on, focus.
I think it's so cool.
There we go.
That I feel like that would be such a
pirate.
fun thing for the artist to just come up with all these different time periods of like Reapers. I'm very interested in that. I'm very interested in seeing like how we revisit all these other Reapers in the future.
If we even do, we might not, but it would be a cool thing too.
Yeah.
You know us. We like to look for like the small things, and we're like, "Oh yeah, I want to learn about that," and then nothing comes of it.
Nothing comes of it. Nothing. So, issue 5 is our finale issue for the week. This issue starts with a flashback to thousands of years ago where we see Demon Queen Adira just raising hell upon the earth.
She's kind of a badass.
She is such a badass. I'm so here for her. There's a narration over these panels saying she was hoping on overthrowing the afterlife, that she was never satisfied with her own position and spent eons resenting death. And her greed damned all those who followed her. And Death says that humans have a really good word for his relationship with Adira. That specific kind of competition, they call it sibling rivalry. And that's how we find out that Adira and Death are brother and
gagged.
sister.
I
You
was
were?
gagged. Yeah.
Yeah, back in Death's apartment, he says that his sister would do anything to destroy him. He clips her wings and removes her powers because she left him no choice. Jessica says that even though Death said Adira would never gain control of the afterlife, she's like, she currently has control of it now, and you're here in this apartment. And she's like, an entire army couldn't get Adira what she wanted, so how does she have it now? And Death simply says, I gave it to her. The gang is gagged. The gang is gagged. We just established this whole epic battle of the afterlife to stop Adira, and Death says, I once thought that death is a relief from the complexities of life. That's only because I had never truly experienced it. My entire existence has been about the end of life, but creating life is truly beautiful too. Jessica, there's something you need to know. And Jessica immediately goes, you're my dad. You're my father. Just steps on his moment. She's like, I already figured it out. You are the father.
I did, real quick though, I did like how this whole panel, like how the panels worked, like how we like took everybody else out of the moment and just had Death and her, and then and then she like she steps on his moment and is like, "You're my dad. You're my dad."
Yeah. He tells her that he's glad that she seems well, and explains that he made a deal with Adira to give her control of the afterlife and stay in that room that he's in for eternity in exchange for Jessica's safety. Period.
That's so crazy though. Like what kind of danger is she in?
Yeah, we get no information other than that. Other than like, it's very clear that the end considers her an imbalance, and her going corporeal and being seen by the humans is what like made him realize that she existed, basically. And so I wonder, we do find out right after that. Jessica says that my ability to move between the living and the dead, that's because of you being Death. And he goes, well, it also has to do with your mom because she was a human. Jessica is the first half human, half death person. And so maybe that's the danger. Maybe they knew that if anybody knew about her existence and what she could do, go between planes, that it would cause like an imbalance or some type of like, what are they doing in the Marvel movies right now? An incursion type thing, you know? So maybe that's the danger. Again, we get little to no information other than I'm your dad, I made a deal, and now you're here. That's basically what we get.
Yeah.
And while they're talking about this, very briefly, there's a giant crash and glass flies everywhere because the end has found them. Death tells him that he should not be there. And the end says, this is my purpose. Death, even you can't interfere. And Death is like, Jessica, I need my scythe back. And starts this epic battle in the hotel room with the end that eventually travels out onto the gambling floor. He tells him that his attempts are futile, that he cannot save her. And then he starts to chain Death up. The end says all that. Jessica then jumps up and is trying to help him, but she's not strong enough. And the end is like preparing like this like attack with a bunch of chains towards Jessica. And Death jumps in front of her to save her from the blast. And the end says, I told you not to interfere. And then Death says, here's the thing, and I finally have something worth dying for. He uses the last of his power to attack the end, and the end starts screaming and eventually sinks into the ground. ? Is he dead, or is he just like going somewhere else?
Yes.
Period. And I think that's the
know.
point. I don't think they wanted it to be clear so they could bring him back maybe.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think it's unclear just because he's probably gonna come back at some point.
Yeah. Jessica then runs up to her dad, Death, and shouts, Dad. And as he's crumbling into a bunch of pieces like a broken statue, he says, I hope you know I meant what I said. You are worth it, Jessica. And then shatters, dying, leaving Jessica alone with his scythe, sobbing. And then we hear, what have you done? And we see Adira entering through a portal with 2 other Reapers. She's like, I cannot believe you just killed your father. You just killed Death. I did everything I could to keep you safe, to prevent something like this from happening.
Giving Scar vibes. Giving Scar vibes. I'm telling you. Clocking it all.
Yeah. That's so crazy that I did not even like recognize that at all when I read it. The Lion King, Hamlet, like, see, now I want to reread it for a third time with that in my brain.
I just so like Lion King is my favorite like movie of all time. It's been since I was like 4 years old. It's been my favorite movie
Yeah.
ever since I've been a kid. And so like especially after the reveal of her being her aunt, I was like, yep, Scar vibes. Yep. And like little pieces were just like planted, and I was like, she came in, she's like, you killed your dad, and I'm like, no, she didn't. You put all this into place so he would die. I see through your bullshit, ma'am. Anyway, so I just yeah, I love that movie. And I just love the parallels.
I totally forgot about that whole thing where Scar was like making Simba feel like Mufasa died because of him. I totally forgot about that. The way my brain was like, we're going to put this away. So you never think about this again.
That's valid. That's fair. That's a fair thing to do though.
So Adira is blaming Jessica, guilting Jessica, and she says, I did everything I could to keep you safe to prevent something like this from happening. Eddie and Marcel post up and they're like, back off Adira. And Adira's, and they're like, or we'll have to, and Adira cuts them off and says, you'll do nothing, actually, and grabs Death's scythe off the ground. And then she says, you'll do nothing, actually, except remain trapped in this mortal hell for the rest of eternity. And she leaves, leaving them trapped on the earth with no scythes.
Now she's scary though. Look at her.
Yeah. So scary. The book then ends with an epilogue in a prison. We see a prisoner walking with mail in her hand, and she says, mail call, there's something here for you, inmate. And she enters a cell, and the lady inside has white hair, bangs, looks rough. She says,
Looks rough.
She looks rough. She's gone through it, clearly. The lady's like, no one writes to me. I don't exist. And then we see she has a letter, and it's addressed to Lila Harrow, Jessica's mom. I regretted not buying volume 2 when I bought volume 1, like instantly. I was like, of course, it's going to end right here on this crazy reveal. How many volumes are there? You said you have 4, right? You said you have the first 4?
There's 5. I have 1, 3, and 4. I actually was going to order the second one today after we recorded.
Okay. Period. That was another thing. I did not order it online. I did not get the digital copy off of Amazon because I didn't want to read anything before the podcast, but I wanted to really bad. I was like, I need to know. I have a lot of questions, like of where things are going to go.
That's fair.
And so, yeah, like we said at the beginning, there's not a lot to dive into here, like deeply emotionally, because this was a setup. This was a really good tease for what's to come.
So I am glad that we decided to read it though, because it now makes me want to read the rest of it, but also because it's gonna be a Netflix series, animated one.
It is.
And I think it's gonna be really cool. I think it'll translate really, really well to like.
I didn't know it was gonna be animated.
So I think it'll translate really, really well. Kind of maybe like an Arcane vibe. I think it'll translate pretty well.
I still need to watch Arcane.
Oh. Okay, well, you should do that. It's really, really good.
Have you watched all of it?
No, I only watched the first season. I haven't gotten around to the second season, but the first season was really, really good. And I don't know anything about League of Legends. I don't think it has anything to do with League of Legends. Just like it took liberties with League of Legends. It was really, really good. Some good stuff.
I love that you don't know anything about League of Legends, and I think that you should just keep it that way for the rest of your life.
I have played a couple games of League, and it wasn't my vibe. And then I've just heard like the whole place is like toxic, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I play enough toxic. I don't need more toxic stuff.
It is one of the like cesspools of the internet. I've never ever been talked to the way that I've been talked to in that game.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. I played a mermaid that was a healer. Of course, I pick my battles, clearly, but like, yeah, I quit. I don't play that game anymore. It was horribly toxic.
That's
But back to Grimm. Very excited that it's animated. I had no clue, so I'm glad that you said that. Have they announced any cast? That's exciting.
Let me see.
I saw that Stephanie was like teasing a Netflix adaptation yesterday, but I didn't realize it was for Grimm.
Okay. So the creators of Wednesday are going to develop it. It's an adult animated series for Netflix based on Boom Studio Comics by Stephanie Phillips and Flaviano. It's still in development, so I don't think they have any kind of cast or anything so far. Because it just got announced in November, so what is that, like 6 months ago? Yeah, so I don't think we just have who's developing it right now. Who
Well, that
knows
is
when it
exciting
will
regardless.
eventually get there.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any final thoughts on Volume 1 of Grimm?
Not really, because like we discussed, there wasn't really anything to like dive deep into. I really enjoyed it as like a volume to read. Like I said, it was a very quick read. It was a very fun read. It was good. I liked it. I kind of can't wait to see how they manage to get back to, it's not hell, whatever they call it, because they're gonna have to take it back from evil aunt
Adira.
Adira. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm interested to see like if it's going to be like, is there going to be a time jump? Have they been living in New York for a year and still haven't found their way back? Like, is it going to be that type of thing?
That's a good question. Let me spoil myself
I'm
a little bit
excited.
here.
But I agree with you. I feel like it was a good volume to read. It was a good start to it. There were some good reveals. There was some good character work, not like deep character work, but there was still like I cared about him by the end. So that's always like has to be a check mark for me. If I don't care about the characters, then it's pointless. So yeah, I would say this was a 6.5 out of 10 for me because it's very clearly the beginning of a story.
Oh, sorry. I was skimming through volume 3 and I shouldn't have.
That moment of oh,
Marcel is tragic. I'm just gonna put that over there for right now. I think I'm gonna give it a 6, like a 6.5, just like you probably. Because like you said, it's like a setup volume to kind of like give the characters backstory, give them kind of something, give you something to like want to keep reading. Lays down the framework. That's the words. I really hope that Death isn't dead though.
yeah, I agree.
He was too hot to die.
Yeah, I kind of hope there is a place that they go, you know, when they die or whatever. I hope
Yeah,
there is a
that's
place like
fair.
so because like they say like I didn't say this in the recap, but in the moment when Jessica faces through the van, they're like or through the bus with the drunk girl, they're not sure if they phase through. They're not sure if she like made the girl dead for a second and brought her back. If that's how they phased, like there is a potential that Jessica can bring people back to life because her mom is because her mom is human. So I think it's that question will probably be answered at some point. I hope so, and I hope in the way that her sexy ass dad with the mustache comes back. So, just being real with you guys.
Listen, guys, sometimes you have crush on people that are, on paper.
2D.
It's fine. It happens, like Nightwing right here. Like he's hot. Matt Murdock, also hot. Especially the way Lee Garbett draws him. Moving on. Yeah, no, it was fun. I really liked it. I'm glad that we decided to read it because it's been on my list for a long time, but it wasn't something that like I was like in a rush to read. And so like when we are like, let's read it for the pod, I was like, perfect. Now I can like have that little push that I needed to read it,
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was very quick. It was very lovely to like continue the trend of what we did with Fantastic Four of like reading shorter things every week because I feel like I really got to be present with it and not panicky about a certain amount of issues needing to be read like I was with X-Men every single week. Yeah. So, like I read this Monday night, y'all. It's Saturday. It's Sunday. I read this on Monday. That's incredible.
I mean, I read it on Friday, but like I said, it was a quick one. Whereas like if we were reading X-Men like we were, that would have taken like 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And it did with X-Men, that's for sure. Claremont, do you have any pop culture that you want to talk about this week?
Pop culture to talk about this week. I am reading Daredevil Yellow by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale because everyone's been talking about it on TikTok, and I was like, I want to read more Daredevil, so let's read this, right? It's pretty good. It's like a retelling of the origin story of Daredevil, which I have actually read. So it was just funny to me to reread an issue I'd already read, just like through a different lens. But no, it's not bad. It's basically told through like a letter to Karen. I'm gonna say that with better conviction here in a minute when I remember what her name is. I think her name is Karen. That sounds right. Is it Karen? Okay. It's a modern retelling of him like writing a letter to Karen, and I guess this is after she dies in Born Again. I think she dies in Born Again. I'm making all of this up because I haven't gotten that far. So if I'm wrong, just bear with me. And he's like just kind of like he's just like going through his feelings and his trying to get back to being the man of fear, the man without fear. There we go. We're getting there, guys. I'm a new Daredevil fan, y'all. Just bear with me for a minute. But yeah, no, it's been pretty good. The only problem I have is that a lot of people like Tim Sale's art, and his art isn't for me. I don't vibe with it all that much. I think all of his faces kind of look the same. But that's a me problem. But otherwise, it's pretty good. If you want to read a modern retelling of Daredevil that I haven't finished yet, you should check this out because so far it's pretty good. That is my pitch. Do you have anything that you want to talk about?
I don't think I have anything reading wise or TV show wise. Izzy Musgraves' new album came out this week. It's called Middle of Nowhere, and it is phenomenal. And I will be going to see her on tour for the first time this year. So very excited about that. Yeah, it's a great album. I'm a very big Casey Musgraves fan, but her last two albums were not great. And I say that openly. They weren't great. There are good songs on them, but mostly she was going through a lot, and it showed in her music in a negative way. This album, Back to Form, it is fantastic. It has a collaboration with Willie Nelson on it, a collaboration with Miranda Lambert, which, listen, if y'all don't know anything about, like,
it was really good.
Texas drama, it's so good. Texas drama or country music drama, those two are from the same place, and they hated each other for years and years and years. And now they both have been divorced and realized that they have two things in common: horses and divorces. And that was enough for them to reach out to each other and rekindle a friendship that has been fucked up since they were kids. And yeah, big deal to me. Very big deal to me. So I was a Nashville Star fan. I don't know if y'all know what that is, but it was the country version of American Idol back in like the mid 2000s. And they were both on that show. And so, yeah, it's a big deal from back in the day.
I didn't know that.
For little old me.
Are they close in age?
I think Miranda's a bit older, but yeah. I think there's maybe a 5-year difference.
You said they had a beef, so I was just like, oh, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
You're a stalker.
Very well-known beef. Well, no, I just see the drama all the time. And like they have publicly talked shit about each other. Like publicly.
See, okay, so like I'm not in it like that, right? I just listen to the music. I don't keep up with like all of that stuff.
I get like I think my algorithm knows that I like the girlies country. Your door just opened by itself. There is a ghost in your house. I need you to get out.
No, my cat is right there. He's like right there. You just can't see him.
Oh, the way I locked in so fast, I was like, I'm calling 911. I have your address. But yeah, I love the girlies, pop, country, all the girlies musicians. I'm not a huge country fan, but Casey Musgraves scratches a very specific part of my brain. Her music sounds a lot, when she does pure country, it sounds a lot like old country, like Loretta Lynn and Patsy Cline kind of vibes. And that's the country that I love because that's what I listened to with my grandma growing up. So this album is just perfect for me. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it will win Best Country Album this year at the Grammys. And she might even win. I think she'll be nominated for Album of the Year again. She hasn't been nominated since Golden Hour, which is one of the best albums of all time. And that's where I'll leave that. That's my pitch. Casey Musgraves. I love Casey. I love her so much.
No, but I agree with you. Her last couple albums have not been super great. And I really loved Golden Hour. I really loved Same Trailer, Different Park.
Pageant Material.
But, yeah, but like Deeper Well, like I said, there are some good ones. There's a lot of not good ones.
Yeah, and same with, was it Star-Crossed? Was that
Star-Crossed? Yeah.
There are some really good songs on there, but like they are outweighed by really bad songs more than very disappointing. She tried. She just was depressed and didn't know how to deal with it other than get high and record. She's not smoking weed as much anymore now, so you know, sometimes you grow up a little bit. We all leave stuff behind. I love someone in their 30s reclaiming who they are.
I mean, apparently Casey and I are like the same age almost. So no, she's a couple years older than me. Never mind.
You could have seen her at the county fair singing. She traveled around your old state.
There's my cat.
Well, Casey Musgraves aside, do you have any final thoughts before we say goodbye for the week?
I do not think so.
same time next week.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Period.